I'd like to call the Macomb City Council to order, please. If you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If the clerk would call the roll, please.
Mike Wayland.
Here.
John Vajezi.
Here.
Tom Cook.
Present.
Gail Carper.
Here.
Tammy Lee Brown Edwards.
Here.
Dennis Moon.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Council, with your indulgence, I'd like to ask some folks to join me here at the rostrum as we get ready to make a proclamation. So if I could have Byron Odin Shabazz, who is the director of the C.T. Vivian Project, if he could join me. Shakira Bailey, who is the president of the Black Students Association at Western Illinois University. Quinn Townsend Riley, who is representing the Black Graduate Students Association from WIU. Mr. Carl Irvin, who is the director of the Gwendolyn Brooks Cultural Center at Western, and Antonio Carter, who is the president of the WIU chapter of the NAACP. All righty, thank you. And I'd like to issue the following proclamation. It says, whereas after the Civil War, African Americans migrated from the South to Illinois. They brought with them the desire for economic opportunities, freedom from oppression and harassment, and freedom to create their very own lives. And whereas in 1915, Dr. Carter Goodwin Woodson, noted black scholar and son of former slaves, founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, which later was renamed the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And whereas Dr. Woodson initiated Black History Week, February 12th, 1926, and for many years, the second week of February, chosen as to coincide with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, was celebrated by African Americans in the United States. And whereas in 1976, as part of the nation's bicentennial, Black History Week was expanded and became established as Black History Month, and now is celebrated all over North America. And whereas during Black History Month, we celebrate the many achievements and contributions made by African Americans to our economy, cultural, spiritual, and political development, and whereas in response to student demands for Black curriculum, several instructors devised the first curriculum examining the Black intellectual experience, and as a result, in 1970, the impetus for courses in African American studies were established at Western Illinois University in Macomb. And whereas the theme for Black History Month 2021 is the Black family, representation, identity, and diversity. Now, therefore, I'm Michael J. Inman, Mayor of the City of Macomb, to hereby proclaim February 2021 as Black History Month. And I encourage public officials, educators, librarians, and all citizens of Macomb to join me by engaging in activities and celebrations, especially those being carried out at Western Illinois University's Multicultural Center, to learn about and acknowledge the many significant contributions that African American citizens have made that have improved the quality of life in the city of Macomb, the state of Illinois, and in the United States of America. And I plan to offer copies to each one of these representatives, but for this evening, I'll offer this to Mr. Shabazz, and I would ask each of them, if you have any comments, please join us at the microphone here.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you and welcome. Thank you for having us. As the founder of the C.T. Vivian Project and the local president of NAACP, you know, the theme about family is significant, which is why I invited the people that are here today, because something that has to happen, you know, every generation has to take care of the generation behind it. And we, as a community, if we do not embrace the people who are to inherit what we work on, you know, there's an African saying that if you do not embrace the children and treat them cold, they will burn it down. And so today, that's what the point and purpose is of all the people you see behind me, is to welcome them and to let them know that they have a voice in this community, right? And we share and honor that voice. So again, thank you, and I look forward to continue working with you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Kyra.
Hi, as he mentioned already, my name is Shakara Bailey. I am the president of the Black Student Association here at Western. And first and foremost, thank you for the proclamation. I think that is a tremendous thing. But I also would like for us to pay attention that it doesn't just stop there, or it's not just like that's the end thing right there. There's so much work, especially here in Macomb, that we have to do to work on getting things better. If a lot of you aren't aware, I held a protest September 9th here about Black Lives Matter and just the injustice that a lot of students still face here. And it is 2021. And it's really crazy because as we just heard all of those dates, 1970, and here we are still facing the same issues for Black students, Black people, just Black families, just period, in the Macomb area or just Illinois, well, across the world, as we saw what happened to George Floyd. Yeah, so I just really would like for everybody to not think that it just stops here, and that we can continue to work on these things and make this community better by helping each other and bringing each other together. Thank you.
Anyone else? Quinn? Carl?
On behalf of the Multicultural Center at Western Illinois University, we really appreciate this proclamation. It recognizes an important part of American history. And one of the things that we really want to stress is this kicks off 365 days of celebration of what it means to be Black and the Black experience in America. And again, we're so grateful. We appreciate your contributions and look forward to your work in helping to make this a more united United States of America. Thank you.
Tony, anything? All righty. Again, we thank you all for being here with us, and Sakira, thank you. All right.
Mayor.
Sure, sure. We can do wherever you want.
You're not going to stay to see Don Wynn sworn in? Come on.
Well, I'll stand by you.
You're taking the picture?
You need to be in here.
There you go.
Yeah. How hard is it to take a picture?
Trying to stay out of it.
There we go.
There, I'm out of it.
How you doing?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the appointment, mayoral appointment of Mr. Don Wynn to fill the vacancy of the third ward alderman position. We entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Wayland.
Aye.
Vajezzi.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
G. Carper.
Aye.
Brown Edwards.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. I now call upon the city clerk, Ms. Falk, to administer the oath of office to third ward alderman, Mr. Don Wynn. Brand new just for you, Don.
I state your name.
Aye. Don Wynn.
Having been appointed to the office of third ward alderman in the city of Macomb in the county of McDonough aforesaid, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of third ward alderman to the best of my abilities.
I will. Thank you. All right.
seat for you, sir. All right. Thanks, Don.
Yeah, you gotta go sit in the corner now. Yeah. Glad you're back.
Welcome to the penalty box.
All right, council, before you is the consent agenda, and a motion is in order.
Move to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Cook. Aye. Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards.
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Wayland.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Public comment. Citizens wishing to address the City Council on matters germane to the agenda for the meeting will be limited to 3 minutes and are asked to be brief and concise in making their remarks. Comments submitted by mail or email will not be read aloud, but a copy will be provided to each member of the council and made a part of the minutes. Does anyone wish to speak to the council under the public comment section of tonight's agenda? Hearing none. Under unfinished business, item number 1. Consideration to approve the sublease agreement between the City of Macomb and the Macomb Area Convention and Visitors Bureau to sublet a portion of the depot located at 120 East Calhoun Street. This was discussed at last week's Committee of the Whole meeting, and we'd entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve the sublease agreement.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? We have Mrs. Scalf here if you have any questions regarding the agreement.
Did we have any changes between the last time we talked about it and tonight?
I think you had an item that we cleared up. Is that correct? Okay. All righty. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Wynn,
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards. Aye. Moon,
Aye.
Wayland.
Aye.
Vajezzi.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 2, consideration to approve the City of Macomb managing the McDonough County Public Transit System and hiring a new transit director. This, too, was discussed at last week's Committee of the Whole meeting. We'd entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the City of Macomb managing the McDonough County Public Transit System and hiring a new transit director.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to proceed with managing the county public transportation system and hiring a new director. Any discussion? Alderman Carper.
Mr. Mayor, last week, we talked about whether there would be a problem with hiring somebody before the contract was up. I wonder if we were able to get any definite dates on that or what might result.
We did, excuse me, we did get a copy of the most recent contract and agreement with WIRC. It actually expired June of 2020, like everything else associated with transit this year. However, we all have been operating under the same terms as that prior agreement. We don't anticipate any issues.
Okay.
To the extent that there might be some overlap with the current interim director that is paid by WIRC and anyone that we would hire. We believe that there would be sufficient grant funds available to cover that discrepancy so that there wouldn't be any outlay by the city.
Okay, so you don't see any problem that would force us to wait?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, great, thanks.
Alderman Moon.
Yeah, I believe I saw a correspondence or some kind of report that we hired a deputy administrator.
I don't believe that's correct. Scott, I don't know.
We haven't hired anyone. I think the regional council, the regional council hired not administrative assistant, but like a clerk type position to help with the administration. So billables and receivables, the work that previously was done at Western a year ago. So the regional council has hired that as a temporary person until the contract is up.
With what expectations did they hire this person?
That'd be a temporary contract employee until
Until we decide if it's necessary.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Cook.
Aye.
Carper.
Aye.
Brown Edwards.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Wayland.
Aye.
Bajesi.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 3, consideration to award the bid for the Lafayette University Drive water main replacement project to Lavender Construction in the amount of $156,710. We'd entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve
Second.
Lavedaire's low bid of $156,710 for the Lafayette University Drive intersection.
And I believe I heard a second. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Alderman Cook? All righty. Any discussion? And I think we have Kent Cox here. Kent, could you come up and maybe review the bid tab and then discuss where maybe there's a memorandum in your packet from the Public Works Director explaining some of the financing, and I think maybe Kent has a little better description for us tonight.
Yes, sir. So this project have reallocated some funds from my current capital equipment as capital improvement program, excuse me. We had saved $43,000 on the lake well rehabilitations. And due to COVID, there were a couple projects in that budget which had not been proceeded with. The SCADA upgrade for $80,000, some analyzer replacements that cost $35,000. There were a couple of bills that came in late after the turn of the fiscal year that reduced that amount slightly. The total of those funds, as well as a reduction of my buildings and grounds fixed equipment budget line item of $30,000, $39,000 from the professional fees line item, which would have been the beginning of the valve exercising program, which we have not passed yet, again, due to COVID. Actually totals $229,000 that I've identified in the current fiscal budget and savings to reallocate toward this project, which, again, the bid was $156,710. Then I guess I can jump to item number 4's amount of $17,000. That's 170, just shy of 174,000. So we have some a little bit of room if there happen to be any cost changes or anything in the project to go ahead and proceed with this, I believe.
Okay. Any discussion, Alderman Carper?
Then what happens if you want to do the projects that have been delayed? Where will you find the money to fund those?
Those, there's no feasible way of achieving those before the end of the fiscal year, as close as we're getting now at this point, to get those proceeded with, nor invoiced or anything of that nature, to have those received within the next less than 3 months.
And were any of those essential safety measures that you needed to do that you're putting off? Or, I mean, what kind of
No.
projects are we not doing?
Essentially, at least 2 of those projects, this SCADA system
Okay.
upgrade and the analyzer replacements, are ones that are also being deferred, awaiting the outcome of the final decisions of whether we're moving away from the nature of treatment that we're currently utilizing. If so, those would be upgraded as part of those upgrades and replacements.
So you don't foresee a negative effect on the operation of the system by moving this money?
I do not.
Okay, that's just, I guess, what I was interested in.
Those were, as I say, upgrades that we were looking at, but with the recommendations of the facility study, I'm waiting to see the outcome of those and how, what the timeline of that will be. I feel very confident that I have the spare parts and equipment to continue to maintain this equipment for a few years until we decide what direction we're going there and proceed in that nature.
Okay, great, thanks, Kent.
You're welcome. Any other?
Maybe by way of a bit of a refresher, since this has been out there for a while, we're repairing a rather sizable leak in this main that was detected with our leak detection contract, third-party vendor. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor. This leak was identified through the leak detection contract on July 14th. And it's due to the echoing of the sound being emitted from the leak inside the casing. The estimation of the volume was estimated at a low end of 150,000 gallons a day to the high end, which I think is too high, of 1 million gallon a day. We've sought out different means or multiple different options of repairing the leak. And this, as the project was put together and bid, ended up being the most effective and least costly of any of those. Since this is a 16-inch pipe inside of a 24-inch casing, none of the contractors, at least 3 different ones that I met with on site to review the project, felt that there was any viable hope of removing and replacing that pipe inside that casing. I guess to digress, actual repair of the leak as we would conventionally, since as we do routinely in other main breaks, since this is inside of a casing, the casing would have to be cut away with like cutting torches or metallic saws, removed and replaced to repair the leak, and then welded back in place. Although this becomes further complicated and more difficult because it is under a state highway. The location of the leak's actually in about the center of the right-hand northbound lane, pretty much right under the stop bar or crosswalk.
So we
So
just
we'd
don't
have to-
get easy ones, do we?
No. It far exceeds our capabilities to do in a timely and efficient manner. And the contractors, the 3 different ones that I met with, were anticipating that means of at least a $300,000 cost. So this ended up just replacing this pipe, moving it to the opposite, to the north side of the intersection, directional boring the road, and utilizing the new, stronger pipe. It's a different construction, very thick walled, and it's actually the only option that Department of Transportation allows to be utilized without a casing, which provides some cost savings for us as well.
So it sounds like you're replacing it, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know nothing about this. Sounds like you might be replacing it with something better?
Yes,
Oh, good,
and 50-plus years newer.
great.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Kent. Anyone else? Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards.
Aye.
Moon,
Well, I didn't hear it.
Sorry, I was clearing my throat. I apologize.
Aye.
Wayland,
Aye.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And Kent, while you're there, I think you covered most of it, but item number 4, consideration to approve the engineering services agreement for the construction phase of services to IMG Corporation, in the amount of $17,000 for this project we just discussed. We'd entertain a motion to approve that.
So move.
Second.
Moved and second to approve. Any discussion? Kent, did you have anything else to add? This is their service standard.
Standard construction
Oversight.
services, record documents type work, and was within the just under $174,000 total estimated cost for the project that I'd mentioned previously of the $229,000 that I identified in savings in the budget.
Excuse me. Any questions or any discussion at all? Pardon me. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Brown Edwards,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Wayland,
Aye.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Carper,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you, Kent. Appreciate it.
Everyone?
There is no other unfinished business under new business item number 1. Consideration to concur with the appointment of Third Ward Alderman Don Wynn to the following standing committees: Public Safety Committee, Vice Chair, Personnel Committee, Public Transportation Committee as Chair. Entertain a motion to concur.
Motion to concur. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to concur. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Moon,
Aye.
Wayland,
Aye.
Bajesi,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards. All ayes.
Motion carried. Item number 2, consideration to concur with the appointment of Third Ward Alderman Don Wynn to outside aldermanic assignments for the Macomb McDonough County Transit Committee.
So move.
Second.
So moved and seconded to concur. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Wayland,
Aye.
Bajesi,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards. Moon,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 3, consideration to accept with regret the resignation of Charlotte Morrow from the Zoning Board of Appeals effective January 31st, 2021.
Make a motion to accept the resignation of Charlotte Morrow from the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Alderman Brown Edwards.
Mr. Mayor, can you please tell me how many positions are available on that appeals board?
And on the Zoning Board of Appeals?
Yes.
Hers is just the one vacancy.
Oh, I'm sorry, how many does it seat? Is it 6,
Oh,
7,
I
10?
don't have that number with me. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
I can get it for you.
Thank you.
Right. Alderman Carper.
How long was Ms. Morrow on the,
Thank you. You're reading my mind. So, Mrs. Morrow was a member of that particular board for over 30 years, and very loyal, dedicated board member, and very grateful for her long, many years of service. And it's our intention to recognize her. We had hoped to catch her at the last meeting she was at, but that didn't occur. So, but yes, she's been very much stalwart, passionate about making sure that folks are heard and their appeals are dealt with equitably on that board. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Bajesi,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Carper,
aye.
Brown Edwards.
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Wayland,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. There is no other new business this evening. Committee reports. Any committee reports? Alderman Vajezi.
2 meetings this past week, one with the Equal Opportunity and Fair Housing Commission. We went over the meeting schedules for 21-22 and also amended the public comment policy. And the second one was the Park and Pool Committee, restructuring a contract with Spring Lake Management to start working with Camp Chicagama, and also talked about the Glenwood Slide project and how we're going to move forward with that.
Very good. Thank you. Any other committee reports? Hearing none. Aldermanic reports. Alderman Moon.
Just might thank the Public Works Department for their good job of salting the streets and keeping them as clear as possible.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Brown Edwards.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I want to welcome Alderman Don Wynn back. I look forward to working with him. I also, I appreciate you giving a Black History Month a proclamation. Since 1619, enslaved Africans were brought to the eastern shores of this country. Black history is American history. The Black experience is uniquely an American experience. And I've been Black a long time. So I look forward to Black History Month, and like the WIU representative mentioned, that this is just the beginning of celebrating American history. I also want to give my condolences to the family of Richard Dickey Leatherwood. He was a 1955 graduate of Macomb High School. He passed away last week. He was also on the 1956 Leatherneck football team. He was a U.S. Army vet. He graduated from Western with his bachelor's and master's degree. He was the first Black homecoming king at Macomb High, and he was the second sworn Macomb PD officer in Macomb in 1962. And so I offer my condolences to the family, and there was a write-up in the paper, and the services will be this week. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Carper.
You all remember when we redid the Amtrak station to comply with ADA a couple of years ago? And it was a pilot project for Amtrak. They have now done almost 20 stations following that pilot project. So Macomb set a really good beginning for all of that. And one of the things that they mentioned in their report is that not only did it let them hire local people in each of the communities, but it saved Amtrak, thus us, federal taxpayers, a lot of money. So we have something to be proud of there. We set the standard.
Excellent. All right, thank you for sharing that. Alderman Cook.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Alderman Nguyen.
Well, glad to be back. Glad to see all the changes that have taken place since I was last here. Glad to see all the students are back. Hopefully everything will work out good for them. It's good to see that they're being involved now. And thanks for all your support.
Very good. Thank you, Don. Alderman Vajezi.
Just want to welcome back Alderman Nguyen. Welcome back.
Thank you, Alderman Wayland.
I agree with everyone. I will welcome my friend Don Wynn back.
Super. Thank you. Ms. Falk? And Ms. Scalf? Thank you. And Mr. Coker? 7 members on the Zoning Board of Appeals. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. All righty. Mr. Bannon?
Just want to say that there's a community housing survey out right now. Just want to say there's a community housing survey out on the city's social media and website, and we put it out on press release. City's collaborating with the Illinois Housing Development Authority, and we're just looking for feedback from permanent residents and students as we put together a housing plan. We're also doing a building condition survey, but the more feedback we get from the more residents of Macomb, the more robust that planning process is. So we'd encourage people to fill it out. It takes 5-10 minutes, but your opinion does matter, and we'd appreciate as many people filling it out as possible.
Thank you, John. Council, I would have one more appointment. We neglected to get all of them in the agenda, but I would ask for your concurrence in appointing Alderman Nguyen to the Historic Preservation Commission. If you recall, by ordinance, the council member and the Downtown Development Director are both a part of that. So we would ask for your concurrence in that appointment as well.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Alderman Nguyen to the Historic Preservation Commission. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Wayland,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. I don't believe there's any other business to come before us this evening. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.